Hello everyone, it's William here at Allegory Gallery, and as you can see today we are not quite here at Allegory Gallery. Oh, I have a little friend. I have a friend coming to say hello to everyone. That's Gilbert. So it's been a crazy busy day, and we've been doing a lot, trying to get a lot of things done here recently to, prepare for some things that we have planned. We're going over some things, we get a lot of requests and things to do different things. And sometimes we have to say no, and sometimes we can say yes. So we kind of have to sit back and plan and look at things and check our calendars. And so it was a big day of kind of going over some things and just, sorting stuff out to figure out what can we do, what are we able to do, what are we realistically going to handle. And so, yes, Suzanne has this shirt, this AG shirt. You can get these on our online store. Hello, Suzanne. Hello, Susan. Susan says, love Gilbert. We all do. Gilbert is a good boy. Hello, Julie. Hello, Teresa. Hi, Harry. Hello, Marianne. Thank you all for joining in. So, yeah, we've been running around quite a bit today. And also at home. It's weird. Did some running throughout the day, but was at home for a chunk of it too. Hey, Deb, glad to see you here. Thanks for joining us. So, yeah, I figured I just got back from another trip out of town and back into town. That's why I'm a little bit late today for our 5 o'clock live here at Allegory Gallery. And I am streaming this on Allegory Gallery's Facebook, on our YouTube, and on my personal Facebook. So if you're tuning into any of those, welcome. Thank you for joining us here. We do these for Allegory Gallery 5 days a week. Every weekday we have a live at 5. Today it's more like live at 5:15. But we normally show things off that we have for sale or new things that are incoming. And sometimes we have days like this where it's just going to be a chat day. We're going to chat. We're going to talk to each other. We're just going to hang out as a community and kind of just take a breath. I know I need one today. Maybe you all do too. I don't know. I don't know how your day was. Let me know here in the comments how your day is, and we can get to chatting and start talking about some things. But while you're all doing that, I'm going to let you know what's going on for us. So we have, like I said, lots of things always in the plans, and probably after this video, maybe we'll see how much energy I have and what time it is and how hot it still is out. It's like 90 degrees here in Ligonier, and it's pretty dang humid. So I don't want to go outside and roast myself or dehydrate myself. I normally drink 2 of these bottles of water a day, and normally by now I'm on my second one. This is how far I've gotten on this one. Now I have had a little bottle of water, but I've been trying to drink a lot more water because everywhere I keep reading, they talk about how important it is to hydrate yourself throughout the day, especially when it's hot like this. So I've been trying. I fill it up with water and then mostly just a little bit of juice. And usually I do some kind of cranberry juice or grape juice, just enough for flavoring, but not really enough for all the sugar and all that you would get if you drink regular juice. So what I was saying is, after this, I hope to go up to Star Cottage Studio. That's the plan. Now, if you all don't follow us on Star Cottage Studio, let me pull that up here. There it is right there. So if you don't follow us there, please go over there, facebook.com/Star Cottage Studio. That is Allegory Gallery's newest project. If you don't know, we purchased a building here earlier this year on a little bit of land, and we are doing some renovations and working on it. And we hoped to see, we hope to do more in the way of like kind of, those home improvement shows and stuff like that, but it just hasn't worked out. We've been so busy that when we're working on stuff, we don't remember to film stuff, right? So that's crazy. But it happens. And then when we have other people in there, oftentimes they are in there working on things when I'm at Allegory or something like that. So we don't get a chance to film much of them either. So unfortunately, it's not been quite like we wanted to, but we still give progress reports. We still want you to follow that, because ultimately that is going to be Andrew's jewelry studio. And that is also going to be a new store for us down the road a little bit in a year or so. Suzanne says Facebook won't let me follow you there. I don't know why. That's very strange. I don't know. Facebook's weird. Sometimes you can like pages, sometimes you can't like them and you can follow them. Sometimes you can follow them or you can't follow them, you can only like them. It's very strange. So hopefully someday you'll be able to follow that. Sorry, I'm very thirsty today, obviously, since I didn't drink my water. So let's see here. What is everyone saying? Oh, so I got distracted. So hopefully after this, my plan is to go over to Star Cottage Studio, and hopefully, I'll be able to do some rototilling. We'll see. Like to rototill up some of the flower beds, and so we can get those ready to plant some flowers in there, and just kind of get all the grass out of there, right? And just kind of get them up and tilled over and hopefully get them ready. And now it's just rained yesterday, so hopefully it won't be too wet, but hopefully it'll be a little bit wet, because I hear they work better when it's a little bit wet. People have said sometimes water down the top layer of your grass or ground before you rototill. I don't know if that's true. If any of you out there know, let me know, because that's what I've read. That's what people have said worked for them. So yeah, that's it. So that's what I hope to maybe get over there and do. We'll see. At least I want to put the rototiller together, get over there and put it together. If not, actually get any more work done. Now, let's see what everyone else is saying. Susan said, it's hot, a very humid 97 degrees. Expecting storms later. Ran to grocery shop, pharmacy, garden shop, treated ourselves to Subway and a real Coke. Nice. Yeah, it's 90 supposedly here, and it's very humid. You can see I'm like sweating. I don't like it, not one bit. I sometimes I'm in my office now, and I sometimes keep our office. I have an air conditioner back here behind these curtains, and sometimes I keep it on, but sometimes I also turn it off because our cats don't like the air conditioning. And I don't know if your cats are like that or not. I don't know if that's a general cat thing, but we have found that our cats generally don't like the air conditioning. So they need a room in the house that is not air conditioned so that they can kind of chill out and nap and not, be able to be comfortable. So that's usually my office. So both Gilbert, I don't know, yep, they're still in here. Both Gilbert and Barnaby have been resting in my office all day because it's too hot for a cat to be out on the catio today. That's what they told me anyway. So let's see here. What else is going on? Teresa had 4th weekly blood work yesterday, and all 4 were perfect levels. Oh, that's awesome. Congratulations. Very, very happy, I bet. And let's see here. What else is going on? Susan, the Subway in Ligonier closed. Yes, our Subway did close. That's sad. I don't know what's going in there next. I've heard a lot of rumors, but we'll find out. Hopefully something great and exciting is in there next to take that over. Let's see here. Oops. And as I said, if you watch me in this new system, we're using StreamYard, and these comments, anytime somebody new comments, if I'm reading through them, it just jumps to the very bottom. Susan says, hydrate, William. Yes, yes, yes. 119 degrees in Sicily. That's too much. Too much. You would never catch me wanting to live in a place where it got that hot for any amount of time. Sometimes we get up into the hundreds. I don't think we would hit 120 around here very often. 90 to 100, 105. That can be normal summers here, but no. Anything more than that, I keep saying I want to keep moving north because this is too much for me. It is raining though off and on. Not today. It hasn't rained yesterday. It rained a lot, and last night we could just hear the rain coming down. So that was really nice. We needed some rain. I think I said yesterday, I mowed the grass yesterday or the day before. My days are running together. I mowed the grass because I knew it was going to rain. So our grass was mowed, hopefully watered, and hopefully won't die now. Harry says, 92 here. My wife had 5 hours of back surgery today, waiting on a report from my daughter who was with her. I made 3 necklaces and working on a painting. Very tired as we were awake after 3 a.m. Yes, Harry, I hope everything goes well. Our thoughts are definitely with you and your family. Amy says, my cats wouldn't survive without AC. It gets too hot in there not to run it. Yes, we have AC in the rest of our house, but we have AC here in this room, but they're all window units or portable units because we don't have central. But so I think some rooms just get too cold because we have to blast AC in some rooms for it to, populate throughout the entire house. And so some rooms just get very, very cold and the cats don't like it. So they find rooms without air conditioning. Like right now, the bedroom is air conditioned. They could be laying on the bed, but they're not. They're in my room, sitting on the chair and the floor. Sorry, I have an eyelash that's attacking my eye, I think. Let's see. Fast food restaurants are not allowed in Ligonier. A franchise is rare. That is true. It is true. We're not allowed. There are no major box stores that are allowed in Ligonier. Franchises are here. They're rare, but they are also family-owned franchises. So we're lucky that way, I think. We're lucky that way. Let's see here. We could use your rain. We could use our own rain, actually. I know it's hard all over right now, I think, in a lot of places for not having rain. But we haven't had rain for a while here, and we definitely needed it. Things are drying up around here, even though it's still pretty humid. Sorry, my light just shut off. I gotta find my... There we go. We have motion sensors in our rooms, in some of our rooms, to turn the lights on and off. So I like tech. So we have techie stuff, lights that, work that way. So that whenever we're in a room, the lights are on, and whenever we leave a room after about 10 minutes or so, they all go off so that we don't waste electricity. Let's see here. Marianne says, even in the north, you can get 90 plus temps, but usually just not that many. I know, but at least it gets cooler more often. Susan says, we are on our 4th or 5th day of 90 here. Yes, we are. It's pretty rare anymore. It used to be, I think, it seems like in summers things used to stay pretty hot and humid growing up. I remember used to just laying under the fan in my grandparents' house because it was so hot outside. So I don't know if it's that rare anymore, but I don't want to get up into the hundreds. That's for sure. That's for sure. Oh, let's see here. Deb says, we got a ton of rain this morning. We needed it bad. So thankful. Yes, we were thankful for the rain yesterday. It was definitely something we needed. And let's see. Amy says, the husband and I escaped for a few days to the beach for our anniversary earlier this week. That was glorious. I bet it was. I'm just petting Mr. Gilbert. He came to sit beside me when I threw that tissue paper on the ground. Cats always like to sit on things, don't they? Molly says, hey, William, glad to see closer to the 5:30 format as I have to pick up my daughter from school, and it's 2:30 here. It works out better after 5 your time to catch up with the lives. Nice. I'm glad. I'm glad it's working out. We want it to work out for people. We chose 5 simply because that's when we close our store. So it's a very easy transition, kind of, once we close up the store and wrap up and close down everything. Between 5 and 5:10 or so, we can just jump right onto the live with whatever we have at the store, and I don't end up going home first and coming back to the store or anything like that. But obviously we work sometimes here from my office, and right now my office is a mess. If I would show you the other side of this camera, it's a mess right now. So I need to get that cleaned up because I'm starting to feel, I don't know if any of you feel like, feel like that. Whenever I have too much stuff around me, I start to get cloudy and I start to get very anxious. And it's funny because our whole house is very crowded right now as we're packing up things and organizing things and condensing things and moving things from here to there and there to here to move over to Star Cottage Studio for Andrew's studio. So we're kind of used to that. We often have piles of something somewhere all the time as we're sorting and making kits and making, all the different things that we try and go through, sorting gemstones to put online and taking pictures. There's always something around, but I try very hard to keep my own office very clear. It's kind of my getaway space. It's a space that is mine. Andrew works in here sometimes, mostly right now because his room has been so crowded from condensing and packing and trying to move things and getting ready to move out of his studio. So he's been working in my room. So we're sharing this room, which is not the easiest thing for me because I like to have my space. I'm kind of a little bit selfish like that, but I do like to have my space where I can just go and I know it's going to be set up for me. As soon as I walk in, the things I need are going to be where I need them. And I don't know if any of you all are like that out there. Do you all have private spaces in your homes? Do you have spaces that you need that are for yourself? Or are you happy sharing with anybody anytime? That's one of those things. I don't know. I like to have my own space. I'm very, very much, I just, you can't, I can't work if I don't have things set up right. If I have to spend 30 minutes getting into my work because I have to rearrange things, and I've already lost the ambition to do my work. And that's kind of what it is. I work when I'm inspired to work a lot of times. It's when I work best. It's when my best ideas come out. And I think many of you probably relate to that. I mean, we always work. We work all the time. But when you really get down to doing something creative or something new, or something that takes some brain power, really intense focus, it's always better for me if I can do it when that inspiration hits and just bam, go right into it. And if I have to clean up my area or move things around or get myself set up and it takes more than a few minutes, then I lose that oomph and I just kind of drown in stuff around me, even if there's not that much. But so that's kind of my way of working. And so right now, all the pottery that I took pictures of that I did, and I don't know if you all saw that. You can see it on my timeline. If you're watching this on my timeline, you can scroll down. So it's there somewhere. I took pictures of all the pottery that I created at Main Exhibit Gallery here in Ligonier with our friend Amy Rodman, who was the teacher. And you can listen on our podcast to Mandy Sarofchek, who is one of the co-owners of Main Exhibit Gallery, if you've not listened to her podcast. And you can hear a little bit about her and her story and their story with the store. But anyway, I took that and I have all the pottery still sitting here, which has not gotten cleaned up yet, which I'm embarrassed about. But I have nowhere to put it. I don't know what to do with it. I don't know. We're probably going to plant plants in a lot of them. I don't know, but it was a fun thing to do, and I tried doing it, and it was really good, and I really liked it. So I have not been watching the comments here, so now I'm going to scroll through here a little bit and see what you all are saying, because it's telling me I have lots of new comments. Teresa says, my daughter has Alexa turn the lights on and off. Yes, ours do that too. We have an Alexa, we have a Google, and we have Siri. And the reason we have all of those is because when we go to all these various, anytime we can get to a business, like a meeting or a convention, or just, every once in a while, like PayPal or Square or Facebook will throw these little business conferences where you can go and learn more about how to use their stuff or learn more about how to help your small business. So we take a lot of these courses and go to a lot of these conventions. Convention's not the right word, but I'm blanking on it. So we're just going to use that for now. I just go to those. We go to those quite a bit. And in many of them, of course, voice search is the next big thing, right? That's what everybody's planning for. That's what everyone's trying to get to, is being to do as much as you can with your voice. If you've seen TV commercials lately, Amazon is really big on that with Alexa, and they have commercials that literally say just with your voice or something like that is the tagline, or use just your voice. I forget what it is. So we check in on our businesses every once in a while by asking questions to all of them, to Siri, to Google, to Alexa, to find out how we show up in search results, voice search results. So we're constantly looking and checking and making sure we're showing up. And if we don't, we try to go in and tweak some things and see what we can do so that we can show up better. So that when people are close to us and whatever devices they have, and they ask those voice assistants, is there a bead store nearby? We pop up. Or is there a jewelry or art store nearby? We want to pop up. Are there crystals nearby? We want to pop up. So that's one of those things. We have all the voice assistants around and we use them in the house because we want to keep up with technology, which is my thing. And also we want to make sure that our business shows up in those search results, and we try and do the best we can to make sure of that. Gail on YouTube, thank you for joining in. If you are on YouTube here, please, please, please hit that subscribe button. I'm going to do a plea right now. Please hit subscribe. We are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. It's a big stretch for us. I mean, we have about 8,000 or so followers here on Facebook, 7 or 8, I can't remember now. But we're having a hard time getting to 1,000 on YouTube. And the reason we want to do that is because on our regular YouTube videos, not these lives, but on the regular ones, YouTube's putting ads in our videos and we're not making any money off those ads. Normally the makers get money off of those ads for every ad you watch. But you have to have 1,000 subscribers to do that, and we don't yet. So please, if you're watching on YouTube and you've not subscribed yet, please subscribe. And if you wouldn't mind, please share these videos with your friends and ask them to subscribe if they think it's something that they would be interested in. Now, of course, if you're on Facebook, if you're watching on my personal account, please go to Allegory Gallery here on Facebook and like us there or follow us there, whatever Facebook lets you do. And if you're watching on Allegory Gallery and you don't follow us, please do, please. And hit that share button too, if you don't mind. Because we say sharing is caring and it's free publicity. So any shares you can give us are much appreciated. Let's see. Oh, let me see. It just jumped and I have no idea where I was in the comments. Okay. Pam watching at work. Uh-oh, gonna get in trouble. Let's see. We set a record of 90+ degree days in Montana in the mountains. That's crazy. It should be cooler in those mountains, I think. Julie says, disaster in my workspace too. Isn't it crazy? It makes you crazy. It makes me crazy when I have that. Rebecca says, we've had severe storms the last couple of days. The drive into work this morning was scary. Trees laying across the road made for interesting driving. I'm sure. We've had some friends who yesterday the trees came down on their house. So we found out it appears their roof has been damaged. So we're thinking about them too, and they have to get their roof possibly fixed, replaced. I don't know what yet. But the wind has definitely been crazy. Definitely crazy. Diane says, I can't make things unless my house is clean. That's the thing. I have to have at least a clean room. The house can be whatever the house is. I can shut it. If I can shut the door and I can just go into my room, I can easily forget about that because I'm not a neat freak. I'm definitely not. I don't mind a little bit of mess. I don't mind when things are laying around a little bit, except in my I like to have a dedicated workspace. In my other living spaces, it's not so bad. I don't have a problem with a little bit of mess. But in my workspace, I don't like I said, it takes that drive I have and just slams the brakes on it if I have to clean up something before I get to working on something. Mess is very distracting, Susan says. It can be, definitely. Harry says, my workspace is a total mess. I create better with clutter. And that's the thing. Some people do. I used to think I was that way because my desk was always like in college when I was working on papers and things, my desk was always a mess. And depending on the situation and what I'm doing, I can work with that. So if I am doing research and I am doing things that I would be writing down things or on paper or reading in books, I can have that around me and that can be a mess. And that's fine because that's my working mess, right? And I think there's a difference between your working mess and just a mess. Because right now I have all of this over here. I have all of this, all these ceramics. So like all these ceramics I made and the things I made are all over here. That has nothing to do with any of the work I'm going to be doing in the future, really. I've taken the pictures of those. They're going to go off somewhere and I'm going to hopefully make more in the future and maybe we'll get me a little wheel. We'll see. I'm thinking about it. I might get into pottery. So that's been something that's been on my mind too. But that mess has nothing to do with my actual working mess. Like if I make a mess with the project I'm working on, I can work with that. We can go with it because that's just the flow of ideas and that's the flow of how things are going. But if I'm starting a new project or I'm getting into something different than what I was working on, it has to be a clean slate again. It's just the way I am. Susan says, if I get too cluttered, then I get overwhelmed and then I don't know where to start. So I let it go. Exactly. That's the thing. There have been a number of times I've come into my room and I've just said, nope. So I grab my laptop and I go down to the couch and I don't get involved in as much as I was going to do, but I get something done, right? So sometimes that happens. And that's just the way it is sometimes. And if the cats are in here and sleeping on both chairs that are in my office, I'll usually grab the laptop and go to the couch because I don't want to bother them, and I'll let them sleep on the chairs. So that happens sometimes too. Lay a piece of tape down in the middle of the room. There's not really an easy middle, actually. There are 2 desks in this room, and I tried to move Andrew to one and use the other, but the one that we film on is the one that we both like to use because we both film here. So that just makes it hard. But we'll get it. It's just a temporary thing because we're working on soon he's going to have his entire own building practically. So he'll be quite happy with that, I think. Deb says, my studio is off limits, just me and my kitty assistants. Yeah. Normally, and I don't want to say, he's welcome in my room all the time, of course, but normally he wouldn't be here because normally he's in his own office. But like I said, right now with getting things ready to move over to Star Cottage Studio, things are getting packed up and things are getting like his room, there's literally no place to move. It is so packed up in there. We can't even get the air conditioner in the window because we can't get to the window. So it's like 90 gazillion degrees in his office and things are all over the place. So I don't mind sharing. Don't take it like that. I really don't. I just for me, whenever I have my own space, I like to have it where it's laid out, where I can just sit down and know exactly where things are and what they do. And if I need a cable, it's in my drawer. It's, I like to have things neat, even though I'm not neat in a lot of the rest of the house or the rest of my life. It's weird. It's really strange because it's really a dichotomy in me. Like, I don't mind if my living space is messy. It doesn't bother me so much. But if my workspace is messy, it makes me a little bit crazy. So I'm not always easy to live with. I'm not always easy. Let's see, the closet I have is my corner of the bedroom with my desk. We have a tiny house, so I don't have any space that are really mine alone, says Amy. Or the closest, not the closet, the closest is my corner of the bedroom with my desk. As long as you have a space, right? When we were in the apartment, before we got our house, my office was in the bedroom, and I had an office in front of or a desk in front of the one window in the bedroom, and that's where I was. And luckily, Andrew usually stays up later than me because he usually works throughout the whole night. So he didn't need to sleep while I needed to do any work in the evenings. But now that we have a house, we have technically 3 bedrooms. One is my office, one is his studio, and one is our bedroom. So once he moves his studio out, we're actually going to have like a guest room back, which is kind of amazing because we've never really had one. Let's see, what else is everyone going on? Diane says, I technically do have a room upstairs, but I never use it. I like to be downstairs where Chris and the dogs are so I can feel part of things. That's one of those things. Like, I guess I like to have time away from things. When I'm working, I kind of like to separate myself off a little bit from everybody else because I don't work well with things going on around me. And I think that's part of my anxiety. Maybe I have a little ADHD. I've never been tested for that or really thought about doing it, but I get very distracted if other people are around because I'm constantly trying to hear every conversation or everything that's going on. So I'm one of those people that I really do like to have my own space. And I feel bad sometimes, but I even have to shut the door and let the cats stay out. I usually like to let them float in and out, but if I'm really working on a project, I then have to even shut the door because I get very distracted, and it's hard to get back into the vibe of things once I'm pulled out of it. And if I'm around other people, I will constantly be pulled out of it. Some people can work that way though, around other people. Now, that's not to say I will have music going. I might have Hulu or Netflix or something playing on the computer while I'm working. I like to have, it's really strange, I like to have background noise. But if it's somebody that I think I might have to answer, like another person or talk to, or they might interrupt me even though they don't mean to, it's very hard for me. So that's like, even when I'm at my other job, sometimes I'll have headphones in, or even if I'm not listening to them, just so people know that I'm in the middle of something. I did that a lot when I also worked at Apple too. I'd put headphones in so people would know this is my time, please don't interrupt. But yeah, sometimes you just have to do that, I think. And at least I do. Maybe not everyone, but I do. Teresa says, we live in a one-room schoolhouse, so one big room and 2 bedrooms and a kitchen and a bath and no closets. No closets would be hard. I don't know if I could do without closets. Really, we probably could, because the stuff that's in the closets hardly ever gets used. But it would be hard to not have closets. I'll admit that. Let's see here. Molly says, no, my jewelry stuff is set up in my bedroom, no personal space. Having it set up and pick up after frustrates me. I feel the same way, William. Yeah, it's, if I didn't have this room, I think I would go a little bit crazy now. I used to be more flexible in my youth, because, when I went to college, we stayed with roommates and everyone was kind of in everyone's business, and that just was a normal thing, and you just all worked together, or you'd chill out on the couch together, but everyone would be working on their own things, and that worked. But as I'm getting older, and as I'm kind of getting set in my own ways, I do like to have my own space, and I like to I like to feel my vibe. Andrew and I vibe very well with a lot of different things, but there are some differences, and I just like to have my stuff around me when I'm working. And I think that's what a lot of people, Andrew's room is decked out with all of his stuff. So you like to have your own things around you. And it's hard when you have to constantly keep picking up or don't have your own space, I think. Susan says you can bring the pottery to my house. Yeah, I got to figure out what to do with it all, but I do want to keep making it. I think I had a lot of fun making it. I was going to take another class with them to continue making, but the evening classes filled up very, very quickly. And unfortunately, the only classes that are available are morning classes, and I'm just afraid. They only start at 9, but that's still super early morning to me. I always say I'm embarrassed to say, but you know what? I'm not really. I'm a night person. I'm not a morning person. So anytime before pretty much 10 or 11 a.m., that's early for me. It's just the way it is. So for a long time, I've lived embarrassed of that fact. And I think society kind of pushes night people to feel embarrassed about if you get up at noon because you've been up until 6 a.m. working all night. But you say you got up at noon and people are just like, oh, well, you're wasting your day away. No, my day doesn't start until after that. So there's no waste there at all. But so that's yeah, I lost track of what I was saying there. But the pottery, the class started at 9 a.m. and I'm just afraid I would be late or miss it sometimes. So I'm gonna wait for the next late night one, or the next evening class, I guess. Susan says, I have a craft room spare, oddly shaped bedroom. It's elbow shaped. Every time I mention crafty room to my buddy Rob, he thinks it's for craft beer. My hubs has the library room for his creative work. That's nice. It's good to have separate spaces if you can, I think. Lisa says, my studio is being made from the garage as we speak. So excited. I like to be the queen of my space, but will with open arms welcome visitors, students, etc. Nice. Yeah, if it's your choice to open up your space, that's one thing, right? And when it is your spouse, it should be your choice, right? That's why Andrew's in here. I don't mind. But when we have visitors and stuff, do I just let anyone just come into my room? No, obviously not. Let's see here. Hello, Kay. Welcome. Your Alexa just lit up when I mentioned her, says Harry. Yeah, that's interesting. Some don't know voices as well as others, I found. Siri, we have found to be pretty good. We have some HomePods, and when Andrew speaks to Siri, it definitely knows his voice over mine, which is kind of wild, I think. Because we were wondering, two guys in the same house, is it going to recognize differences in voices? It definitely does. Siri definitely does. Rebecca says, I have a spare room to turn into a sitting room for myself. It was short-lived because my oldest son temporarily moved back home. That's happening. A lot of families are moving back in with each other nowadays, right? And let's see here. It just flipped. And I see how far behind I am on comments. So I'm going to scroll by. And sorry if I missed your comment, but I'm obviously very behind, which is fine. I don't mind that because that just means we're going to keep chatting for a little while, right? When the comments start ending, then I know you're all getting tired and you're ready to be done, and that's how I know. So as long as there are comments coming, obviously we're going to keep chatting, right? Would it help if we watched on YouTube? Asked Susan. Yes, I will say that. We don't want to lose our Facebook views, obviously. But if you all do go over to youtube.com/allegory gallery and watch there. So for the monetization, and I don't know how much of this we're supposed to say or not, but they haven't told us anything because we're not monetized yet. So we're not under any obligations. But in order to be monetized, what that means is if they play an ad on your video and somebody watches that ad, you get a kickback for it, right? We'd love that. They're playing ads on our videos already, so we want that money from it. Why not get the passive income instead of giving it all to Google, right? So when you're monetized, or to get monetized, you have to have 1,000 subscribers, and I think you have to have 10,000 watch hours, which seems like a lot, but I don't think it's really a lot. So not only do we need the 1,000 subscribers, and then we have like 430 some right now. So we need about 600 more of y'all out there to hit the subscribe on our YouTube channel. But we also need those watch hours. We need people to be watching our YouTube and really watching it. Many people don't realize this, but if you start a YouTube video and you watch for like 3 minutes, YouTube keeps track of how long everybody watches your videos. And if they see your videos aren't being watched for a long time, if they see people coming in and watching for 2 or 3 minutes and then skipping to the next video, you fall in the ratings, right? But if they see that people are watching your videos on YouTube for long amounts of time, they're watching the whole video, or they're watching for the majority of the video, then YouTube will start recommending your videos more. So Susan asked if it would help if you all watched us on YouTube. Yes, it would definitely help. Even if you just watch these replays, if you miss the live and you want to watch the replay, it would be great if you'd head over to YouTube every once in a while and watch the full replay there. That would be awesome. So yeah, any views you can give us on YouTube definitely would help. Okay, so let's see. What's everyone saying? Sandras, how many subscribers you have on YouTube? I think I just answered it kind of. I don't know the exact number. We were at 430 some, I think, the last time I checked. So, which was up from just 200 a few months ago. So you're all making it happen. We just need to make it happen even more. Let's see. Smart home. I was wondering what you were saying, Kay. Smart home tech kind of freaks me out. I'm with it. I like it. I like smart home tech. I'm okay. We have smart locks in the house. We have sensors for our lights. We have smart lights. I don't mind it one bit. I think it's very convenient. I like how I don't have to carry as many keys around with me for our house because I can just punch in the code or open it with my phone or watch. Super convenient for me. Can it be broken into? If you have somebody who's really, really, really trying, but it's not easy. So if you had somebody that was targeting you, maybe. I hope we never have anyone that's targeting us to try and get in our house. We don't keep much like my whole office is full of sentimental stuff. That's pretty much what it is. So you know, it's one of those things, but it does freak some people out. And the idea of Alexa weirds me out, says Susan. I wonder if she's a snitch bot. We're really boring. You know, I do sometimes think they say they're not listening or reporting what you say. But I swear there are some times that we think of things or talk about things here in the house, like things we need to purchase for the cottage or things like that. And they just suddenly start popping up in lists. And I don't know how that happens or why that happens. They say it's because you like searched for something a little bit ago and you just forgot, or I don't think so. Sometimes I do worry if they are snitch bots, but what are you going to do, right? It makes things super convenient for us. I like it. I like the different assistants for different things. I like the Alexas because you don't have to say hey or hello or anything in front of Alexa. It feels more natural. I like Siri because it's tied into our Apple ecosystem, and I like Apple products. So I do believe that we have more Siris, I think, in the house than anything. And Google is not bad. We have a few Googles in the house, just the little ones. We don't spend lots of money on them, but Andrew likes it the most. So he plays music in his studio with Google, and in the bathroom we have one for showering and just listening to while we're in there and getting ready for things. So yeah, they are, you know, they are what they are, but they do make our lives more convenient, and they are something important for business. If you are especially a brick and mortar, and you want to see how you show up if you're in the area of your business and what people are going to hear and find if they search for you that way. So I think it's important. Let's see here. What's everyone saying? Hello, Patty. Thank you for joining in. I'm way back in the comments, I think, so I'm just saying hello. Hopefully you're all still here. Let's see. What's everyone saying? Susan says, your ceramic work is lovely. Thank you, Susan. I tried. Some of the bottoms are really thick still, and there's some weird wonky things, but I think for my first try, I'm actually pretty proud of myself. Andrew's one of those people, when he tries things, he says, it's okay. You know, it's that kind of thing. I'm like, yes, I'm proud of myself. I think I did a great job. Because it took me a while. The first few days, I wasn't sure that I was going to get it. I wasn't sure that it was going to be for me. And then as we moved along in the weeks, it was once a week for 4, 5, 6 weeks, something like that. And I started to get it, and I started to play and just kind of have fun with it instead of trying to force creation out of things. So I think that was fun, and I liked it. If you want to see, Rebecca says, let's see your pottery. If you want to see it, I took pictures of it all on my Instagram, the @WMM Jones. You can find me there if you want to follow me on Instagram. I think you have to request to follow me, and that's just to keep crazy people out. So if you want to follow me, you can. I'll look at requests later. But I also posted it here on my Facebook page, and I post almost everything publicly on my Facebook page. I don't post for friends only. So you can pretty much see everything I post on my Facebook page here. And yeah, I would show it to you more here, but it's pretty dark in this room right now, and I didn't turn on the overhead light, and we're just chatting. I'm not going to show today. It's not going to be a show and tell day. But if you want to see it, they're out there. And I may show them off more some other day when I'm more inclined. I like just chatting today. Chatting is a good thing. Let's see. Let's see. I have a homemade jeweler's bench and a movable 8x10 bench pin, like a little shelf that is clear, and most of the work is done on that. I have 3 6-drawer cabinets just for AG beads and tools. Nice. That's awesome. Thank you for being such a supporter, Harry. We really do appreciate it. Most of you out here watching here are awesome supporters of what we do, and we really do appreciate it. Sanders out there, thank you so much for joining in with us out there on YouTube. We really do appreciate it. If you are new to here, normally we're showing you things that we bring into our bead shop and new gemstones and all that good stuff. Today we're just chatting. because community to us is very important. And, you know, we get to talk with our local community all the time. They stop into to our store and we get to chat with them. But our online community, we don't want these online videos to just feel like we're selling things to you, because that's not what it's about. It's about creating community and you believing in us and what we do, and believing that we're going to provide you with the best things we can, and that also that you get to know us and we get to know you. That's what's important. So thank you for joining in here. If you are on Facebook or YouTube, wherever you are, we appreciate it. Let's see. Kay says, I wouldn't mind sharing if my supplies were respected and put away. I get angry when I find golden paints left uncapped. That's a thing sometimes, you know. That doesn't really happen between Andrew and I, because, or Andrew and me, because we kind of know, we're kind of very, we make sure things are, you know, kind of put back the right way. We just know how important it is. But there are times when, yes, like sometimes when we take classes in other places and you share your things and they don't quite get used the right way, it's hard. It is hard. But hopefully you can still find your own space and keep your sanity a little bit, right? Let's see. My cat Smokey loves to plop on my beadboard when I'm in the middle of a project. Otherwise, he leaves it alone. Isn't that the way? I know that sometimes our cats definitely like to be involved. And it's usually when you're busy working on something. Once you walk away and let something leave, they have no interest. They have no interest in it anymore, right? So I get that. I definitely get that. Rebecca says, I've tried for 25 years to turn my family into neat freaks. So far, no luck. I'm definitely not a neat freak. Definitely not. It's not my thing, but I do like my office neat. That's, like I said, my workspace, the space that I try to retreat to. If I'm retreating to a place, I like that to be neat. But if I'm in it all day and it's a daily thing, it doesn't have to be that neat. So I'm kind of in between. I'm a little bit weird that way, I think. But maybe out there are like that too. You know, like right now in my office, there are certain things that are making me crazy, and there are certain things I'm like, I know what that is. I'm working on that. Like I do have project bundles, we'll call them, project bundles around my office. But I know what I'm doing on them and I know what they're doing. Like I said, it can be messy as long as I know what's going on. But if I need to start something new, I always try to have a clear spot in my office where if I need to, I can sit down with my computer or whatever I'm working on, and I just have a clear space to jump right into it. And sometimes that doesn't always happen if you're sharing spaces, right? Let's see. Harry says, my basement is part photo studio, part ceramic studio, and shipping station. Jewelry gets made there among the shelves that hold my shop stock. Nice. You've got lots of places to work, it sounds like, Harry, which is good. Sorry, just reading through some comments. Sorry if I'm missing yours. I'm trying to scroll through them so that I'm not too far behind. Susan says, I love to have music playing while I'm working. Me too. I'm a big music person. And I listen to different kinds of music depending on my mood, which probably you out there do. Let me put that back up there so people know what we're talking about. But I also like different media options. So sometimes you will find me listening to the radio. Yes, a real radio. They do still exist. I think some people forget about that. But I kind of like, you know, sometimes I'm in the mood to not have to choose what I'm listening to. Or at least choose so much. I can choose a station, a radio station, and let them pick for me, and I just kind of go with it. And it helps me to drown out other thoughts. So I'm not constantly thinking, oh, I can change this if I don't like it. I can change this if I don't like it. You know what? If I don't like it, I'm just going to ignore it and it's going to play something different next, right? But sometimes when we're in control of things too much, or at least when I am in control of things too much, it gets in the way of doing other things. So if I know I can change my music at any time, listening to streaming music or something like that, then sometimes it distracts me. If I hear a song I don't really want to listen to, then I start searching for a new song or thinking, what do I want to listen to now? And that distracts me. So sometimes I'll just turn on the radio and just let it play, because I'm not going to change that. I'm just going to set it on a station and go. And that's the same even for streaming. There are stations and you can listen to them that way too, I guess. But if it's on a computer, I tend to want to control it. I don't know why. So I listen to a radio sometimes, and sometimes I listen to my record player. And I have a collection of records, and sometimes I really like listening to the record player because it's something that it forces me to stand up and go flip the record once in a while, right? So if I'm in something that I know is going to be super intense, sometimes purposefully, I will go and put on a record so that I know within the next half hour or so, whenever that one side is finished playing, I'm going to have to stand up, walk over, flip it. So it's a standing, you're getting standing, you're walking a little bit, you're moving around, you're separating yourself from your intense focused work. And I think that's important to have breaks. So sometimes I listen to the record player just because I know I want some breaks in my life, and that helps a lot. Let's see, what else is everyone saying here? Kay says, I'm currently doing a ruthless declutter and reset of the space. Need to have a dedicated sewing area, mixed media area, and a space for jewelry making. I get it. I kind of ruthlessly cleaned out the kitchen the other day. Andrew's like, wait, I want those jars. And I said, they're all together over there. Take what you want before the garbage goes out tonight. Because I'm like, let's just clean the kitchen. And sometimes he gets like that too. And he's like, okay, here's everything. Do you want anything in here? Because if not, it's going away. So sometimes we both go through those phases, I think, where we're just ready to declutter. And I think it's good. I think it's good sometimes, right? It kind of, for a long time, I grew up without a ton of money. We didn't have a lot of money. I was spoiled a little bit, from my grandparents and my aunt. And so people thought I had a lot of money, and I didn't. And we grew up fairly, not poor, but it was a single parent household pretty much. And my mom did all she could, and she went without. And yeah, we didn't have a lot. So I think holding on to things and clutter is just mentally in me. And I think that's because, when you don't have a lot of money, you can't replace things as easily, right? If you throw something out that you need down the line, then you're rebuying it, and you might not be able to afford to rebuy it later. Or, you can always get more use out of the plastic spoons that you got at fast food, right? You got a plastic fork and a plastic spoon. So instead of throwing them out, you wash them. And so you start collecting those. And it can be one of those things that it's a mindset of not releasing because you might need it. And if you throw it out, then you might not be able to afford it later. And I think a lot of my tendencies over the years to collect things that I like and hold on to things. And I'm very sentimental about things too, which doesn't help. But I do have a tendency to hold on to some things because of growing up kind of in that mindset that not everything was replaceable. You couldn't always just go out and buy something new. And as we've continued with the business, and things were very hard in the beginning, and they're not easy ever, right? With a small business, when you have your own small business, I don't know that it ever gets easy, but we're trying to do our best to put great things out there so that you all have things to support us with. You can all shop with us. You can all purchase things from us. So we're hoping that you continue to like what we do, but at any point in time, the tides may turn, right? You never know. With your own small business, you never know. And so we kind of sometimes have that mindset, I think, of accumulating and keeping and holding tight to things, because you never know when the next downturn is going to happen, and you might want something or need something that you just threw out because you thought you could replace it when you were doing well. So it's really hard for me to get out of that mindset. I want to be, they talk about being in the abundance mindset and feeling abundance in your life and bringing abundance into your life. And I want to feel like that, but it's very hard because the way we grew up and the way the business has started, and we started very small. We didn't start with a lot. We built the business working very hard with very little. And but I'm trying very hard to get into that mindset that you can let things go. You can let certain things go. You don't have to hold on to everything. So that is where I'm at right now. So I don't know if any of you feel like that or not, but that's the way I am. Susan says, I'm introverted and need my space to preserve my sanity. Yes, that's a good point, Susan. I am an introvert. I call myself an extroverted introvert because I'm definitely an introvert, but I can be, if I'm in the right atmosphere, I can be very outgoing. But I need my own personal space to recharge because it takes a lot out of me. And so I get that. Amy says, I'm introverted, and after a year in the house with my kids, I have no sanity left. I get it. I definitely get it. Let's see here. Sorry, just reading through comments, seeing which ones I've gone way too far past and which ones I have not yet gone too far past to be able to say something about. Sometimes I get too on my own track. Let's see. Sorry, they just all scrolled away from me. And boy, I've missed a lot of comments, so I'm just going to keep moving here a little bit. I'm going to skip through some comments. Sorry, everybody, but I am getting far behind, I see. But I'm really enjoying talking with you all and reading your comments and seeing what's going on with all of you out there. Keep losing connection, you're going to go. Sorry, Julie, I probably missed you already, but you have a good one if you're watching this in the rewatch. We wishing you well out there. Siri is snotty, says Kay. I like Siri. I don't mind Siri, but sometimes I think they all sometimes, and I think that's just right. It's our perception. They don't change their attitude. They're machines, right? So far. But I do definitely some of them have an attitude, I feel like sometimes. Molly just switched over to YouTube to watch us. Thank you so much, Molly. We need those watching hours. We need those subscriptions over there. Thank you so much for that. Harry says, I use Alexa to play music through Amazon Music. They have almost anything I ask for. Yeah, lots of great music companies out there. And we subscribe to a number of those too, because Andrew listens to Spotify. I listen to Apple Music mostly. So it's just different things, what you like to listen to, right? Let's see. Smart tech is convenient until the electricity and Wi-Fi are down. Ain't that the truth? We have smart lights, of course, and one time the Wi-Fi went out or the internet went out. The Wi-Fi was still running. We had electricity, we had Wi-Fi, and they're supposed to all run even if the internet's out within the enclosed Wi-Fi network. But something happened and they didn't. And we're like, how do we turn our lights on? Like, we have light switches, you can still use them. But sometimes you get so used to doing something a certain way, you forget, oh yeah, I can just flip a light switch if I need to. So it kind of dumbs us down sometimes too. Let's see here. What else is going on? Susan says, I love our chats. Me too, Susan. Me too. And other Susan says, I do too. It's nice to speak with crafters near and far. Yes. And even if we're not talking about crafting, right? I just like these chats with you all. Harry says, I hope all of you listening on Facebook could help AG by like and share buttons. 2 clicks spreads the word easily. I do it every day. Yes, thank you, Harry. Thank you for the shout out, and thank you for sharing, because we know you do. We see it all the time, and we appreciate it. Let's see. What else is going on out there? Harry says, when I get beads or supplies from AG, I save the little boxes to hold idea sets. That's a great idea. That's definitely a good idea. Yeah, we send out a lot of jewelry boxes. Whenever we package things, we know we could just wrap it up and throw it in bubble wrap or something in an envelope and send it out. But we feel that the boxes are a little bit more, they're nicer, but they're also a little bit more protective. So we send out a lot of jewelry boxes, and I'm glad that's a great way to use them, Harry, because we often get people saying, what can I do with them? And people are like, can we bring them back? And we're like, no, not during COVID. You can't give them back to us. We can't reuse them. So it's a good way. It's a great way to make little idea sets out of them. Let's see here. Kay says their boxes are great. I set up easy earrings and bracelet projects in those for when I have time to work on a quick project. That's a great idea too. Definitely goes along with that idea project. Oh, let's see here. Janet says my mom is depressionary and she can't throw anything away. I think that's, yeah, it's a big thing. And I don't think you have to be born in the depression. Like I said, we just didn't have a lot of money, so we knew everything was a little bit scarce. So you get into that mentality of holding on to things in case you can't get them later. And I think that's why sometimes I buy books and I hoard books. Even if I don't read them all, I buy a lot of books. Because when I was younger, we'd go to the bookstore and it was a treat to go and buy a book. And so you would buy one while you could. You picked one definitely while you could, even if you weren't going to read it right away. And I think that's kind of my mentality with some of that stuff. If it's expensive and I don't use it, I will gift supplies to other artists. I'm really working on keeping only the things I use and absolutely love. Not Marie Kondo style. Yeah, I'm trying to get there. Like I said, I'm very sentimental, so I have a lot of sentimental things around me. And I do have things I don't necessarily use, but I'm trying to get rid of the things I don't use. I'm trying to pare down to, really just have the things around me that I enjoy. If I don't enjoy it, and I know Marie Kondo is all about bringing joy, if it doesn't spark joy, but there's really something to that. If it's not really part of your life right now, I'm trying to pare it down. I'm trying to be better about things. Let's see here. Susan says, sometimes I like someone to play DJ. Currently, I listen to our amazing classical station on our community station. Nice. I also found a tiny station, 30 watt, that plays jazz. Splendidly curated mixtapes like Miles Davis Sketches of Spain. Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, that's kind of my thing too. Like I definitely sometimes like someone else to just play the music because I love music while I'm working, but if I'm going to be constantly choosing it, it's going to take me out of my working element, right? Also, my kids don't want any of our stuff, just like I don't want much of my mom's. And that's the thing too, is a lot of young people don't want the stuff their parents had. It's strange, I guess. I took a lot, I think, from my grandmother's house and from my grandparents because I was very close to them and I did want a lot of what they had. But some people don't, and I don't know why. I guess if you have your own stuff, not everyone's like that. Like I said, I'm super sentimental though, and I always have been. I keep birthday cards. I keep, stupid little things that people give me sometimes. So I do get sentimental about things. So I think a lot of that is from that. Amy says, I have trouble with the decluttering. I go through cycles of purge all the things and crap. I've got too much stuff, right? I'm not good at balancing either. I will admit that. I'm trying to get better about it. And that's the thing with having finally my own office, because for the longest time when we were in New York, we didn't have enough room to have our own office necessarily. And when we moved back into the apartment here in Pennsylvania that we were in, great apartment, loved it being there, but didn't have a separate room for me. So now that I have my separate room, I'm really it's a new thing for me kind of. So I'm really trying to make it my own. Even growing up, my brother and I had separate bedrooms. We didn't for a while, but I moved in finally to what we had was a large room, but it stored the laundry room and it had our freezers in it for, food and stuff that we would freeze. So it was my bedroom, but it was more than that. And it was kind of shared space in a lot of ways. So this is really the first real, true my room that we have that's going to be permanent. I mean, I had my own rooms in college and stuff, but you moved out of those every year, right? So this is the first time I really have my room, and I'm trying to get in the mindset of surrounding myself with only the things I really love. And that's a thing. That's a thing. Lisa says, you're definitely a kindred spirit. Love how you are in the world in such good techie comments. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Let's see here. What else? What else is everyone saying? Whoops. All my comments just jumped. There it goes again. Kay says the AG boxes make awesome shrine substrates too. Yes, you could use them for that. Build little shrines out of them. Diane says, I have a hard time paring down because I'm like, maybe I will use it someday. Yes, that is the thing. And I think I've traced that back to growing up with not a lot of money. And around people, like my parents didn't have a lot of money growing up. Their families didn't have a lot of money growing up. So it was constantly, maybe we will use that someday. Maybe we will need it someday. I looked to my aunt for inspiration because if she's not using it right now, she pretty much gets rid of it. And she said, if I need it later, I'll work on getting it later. But for right now, I don't need it around me. And I'm trying to get more in that mentality. I don't want to go completely into her realm because she can throw away anything and she's fine with it. I think, but I don't want to go that far, but I'm trying to take on some of that personality trait and try and get rid of that maybe I'll use it someday idea and just be like, if I do actually need it someday and it's something that is so necessary that I'm going to need it, I'm going to find a way to get it later. So that's what I'm trying to do. Let's see here. Susan says, I like having things that belong to my parents, my brother, my grandparents, especially things they made. Yes, I do too. I do like to have things around me, just things that remind me of them. I spent a lot of time at my mom's, well, both of my grandparents actually growing up. And I like to have things that remind me of being there. Both of their houses aren't places that I visit a lot anymore. My brother is in my grandparents' house now, and my other grandparents' house has been sold. I can't go to it anymore. So I do like to have certain things around me that remind me of those people and those times and just spark. Sometimes I'll just be sitting and I'll look at something and it'll just spark the memory of that exact location where that photo hung in the house and what the smell of the house was and just how, the crackle of the fire and things like that just, I like to have those things around because I have found as we get older, we don't remember everything. Who knew, right? So you used to think you knew it all, right? Well, now you realize that you don't remember everything. And sometimes you need those little things to jog your memory. And then sometimes those ideas just come flooding back. And it's really weird. Whenever I have ideas or things that I forgot about that come flooding back like that, I get literal tingles on the left side of my head. And I don't know if anyone else gets like that. But literally, I get literal physical tingles on my head when I bring back a memory like out of storage in my brain. It's getting ready to be deleted, but I bring it back out of storage. It's a very weird sensation, and probably no one else gets that, but I do. It's weird, I promise. I actually get weird sensations like that. Molly says, we spent over a year going through my aunt and uncle estate, 7 years of collecting with no children. It took us so long. Their house was full per the trust. Everything had to be appraised and sold. I did get lots of vintage jewelry of my aunts. Yeah, that's the hard thing. Like, my mom and aunt and I were cleaning out my grandparents' house. And we all were kind of saying, you know what? As we get older, we probably should learn to throw things out and purge things so that we don't have to put whoever's going to clean our houses out through the same thing. Now, my grandparents didn't, I mean, they had a lot of stuff, but their house was always very neat, very tidy. Everything was very well organized for the most part. But there's just a lot that you collect in life, right? And I think about now all the things that somebody would have to go through if something happened to me and Andrew, and what they'd have to do to go through our house and the stuff that we have. And it would be insane. I would hate to put somebody through that. Somebody would end up with a ton of great stuff, I think, lots of beads, lots of gemstones, but there's also just a ton to go through. So I'm trying to get better at purging myself. Suzanne's gifting some of my extra beads to my niece who's starting to make jewelry. Awesome. That's nice. That's very nice. My niece and nephew sometimes make things. They're not quite old enough yet to get into doing everything on their own, but I'm hoping they'll come in. We're thinking they might come into the store before they go to school next week. So I'm hoping I get to see them and they get to make some stuff. But we definitely try and spoil them if they're into that kind of thing. When they go through their phases of making things, we definitely try to do the same. Amy says, I have a 6-month rule that works pretty well when I keep up on it. If I haven't used it in 6 months, I don't need to keep it. That's great. That's much shorter than I myself right now would be able to deal with. But so I congratulate you, because I would have a definite hard time doing 6 months, maybe a year. I might be able to say if I'm not going to use it, if I haven't used it in a year, I could get rid of it. I have to go through all the seasons, right? To make sure that I don't use it in any season, and then I'll be okay. This doesn't apply to beads, beading materials, right? Those don't go bad. Those you might use someday. Those you could put in a project, right? Yeah, exactly. If it is something that's readily replaceable and I don't use it frequently, it is gone. That's good. I'm not that good yet. I'm not that good yet. Amy says, also not with sentimental things. Definitely. Kay says, both of my children are not sentimental beings. I'm okay with that. Yeah, you know, some people are not. Some people just are not. I talk about my aunt. I think she is, to a point. I don't want to speak for her though, but she also has a super memory. So I think because her memory's so good, she doesn't need necessarily all the reminders. And I just know my memory is not that great. I have definitely forgotten things. I have definitely forgotten things that I've done over the years. I looked in a notebook one time that I had from college, and I'm like, who wrote this? And of course, they're written in other languages. So some of the stuff that I did in college, I can't even read, let alone remember that I did it. Yeah, some people are not sentimental, but I think sometimes that's because they have better memories. At least that's, I think, my aunt's case. She has a great memory. And I think sometimes she doesn't need to keep everything because she has the memories, and that's what life is about, right? Having those memories. And that's why I keep sentimental things, because it reminds me, it jogs my memory. But if I had a better memory, maybe I wouldn't need them. I think that's part of it too. Harry says, I have some things even my great great grandmother, paintings she did in the 1800s, teapots my mother collected. My kids hate to think what they will do when I am gone. That's a hard thing. I don't think I have anything from a great grandparent. I do have hanging on my wall, I believe it's from my great grandmother that passed down an embroidery, and I have it hanging on my wall. It hung in my grandparents' house until they passed, and I definitely wanted it. And it's in Slovak, and I believe my great grandmother did it. But I'm not 100% sure on that either. As time goes by, you know, those things are forgotten, but it's definitely something that's been in our family, and it's hanging on my wall now, and I'm never going to get rid of it. I don't know what's going to happen to it after me. But maybe my niece and nephew, who knows? But I think that's the thing to think about. You never know what's going to happen to things after you're gone, but I guess after you're gone, you don't really care, right? At least that's what I hear. Let's see, what else is everyone saying? That's the thing too. Susan is saying, doesn't have kids, but spoken to cousins of both sides of the family. I want family items to stay in the family. That's important to me too. I would like the things that I have to stay in the family. And I have photo albums. Most of my grandmother's photo albums I now have. And I'm over time scanning them in, trying to digitize them so that they just, you know, so that even if if something happens to the physical ones, the family can pass down the digital versions at some point if they need to. So that's, you know, trying to plan for the future and plan for a less physical future, right? Everything, you know, is heading digitized. Everything, you know, we're taking pictures on our phones. Most of us don't do. Harry's probably one of the few exceptions on here that don't do film anymore, right? And don't develop film. We don't do much in physical pictures anymore. So as we do, I'm trying to prepare for that and for future generations of our family, even if they're not from me, my nieces and nephews, um, they might want some of that to know where they came from. Let's see. Kay says, I'm sentimental, but I've started storing the memories and photos of things I'm releasing in art journals and written journals. Journals are good. I need to start journaling better. I've always wanted to journal better. It's one of those things that I always want to do in my life. You know, there are certain things in your life, I think, that you constantly wish you did better or did more of. And journaling is one of those things for me because I will look through journals often, but I don't write enough anymore. So I need to keep up with that because there's so much that I don't want to forget as I move on through time, right? So, yeah, that's been about almost an hour and 15 minutes of chatting with you all. I've caught up to most of the comments, and I thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed spending time here with you and chatting with you all. I always do. It's always a pleasant experience, and it definitely is a highlight to my day. I really enjoy it. I enjoy hanging out with you all, and I hope you like it too. Obviously, I hope there's a number of you that do because you hang in there this whole time with me. So thank you so much for that. And I still have some things that I know I'm working on at Allegory that probably I haven't invoiced everybody yet. I need to get through some of that. We've just been crazy busy, so I apologize on the delay on all of that. So if you're waiting for an invoice, I'm going to try to get to those things tomorrow. We have a thing in town happening in Ligonier called The Stroll, which is a vintage car show that's happening here in Ligonier. This is supposed to be the biggest one ever, and so we'll probably be staying late, open late tomorrow evening, to see if we get any walk-ins from that stroll. So if you're out here in Ligonier during the stroll, please check by Allegory Gallery and stop by if you are around. But that'll give me some time, I think, extra time in my day that I'll be able to sit down and hopefully do a lot of the stuff that I need to catch up on. So thank you all so much for tuning in. If you have any questions, you can always send us an email. Let me throw that email up here real quick for you. info@allegorygallery.com if you would like to. If you're on Facebook, we do a lot through Facebook Messenger. So just go to our About section and hit the Message Us button there. And you can send us a message on Facebook. We're happy to check that out too. I know I still have to invoice for cards and stuff. I was not at the store at all today. I was doing so much. So many other things. So I didn't get to that, but I will. I'll work on it. And so don't worry if you haven't got an invoice that you're expecting. I am still working on some things. I got some of them done, not everybody's. So thank you all so much for joining in today. And if you have any questions, send us an email, send us a message. We thank you for being here with us. Thank you for chatting with me. I know sometimes these are always unscripted. The Let's Chats are always unscripted. I don't come in with them with any idea of what I'm going to talk about. I kind of go off of what you all are saying. So thank you all for pitching in and chatting with me here and giving your comments so that I have something to talk about, because without you all, I wouldn't have much to talk about. So thank you all so much. Again, have a wonderful evening out there. And maybe tomorrow, because we're staying open late, I'm not sure if I'll have a live, but I'm going to see if one of my helpers can stay a little bit late so that maybe I can get out to the stroll and we'll take you around and show you all the antique cars if I get a chance to do that. So hopefully tomorrow we'll be able to do that. Otherwise, we may not have a live, but I'll post on our Facebook page if we're going to have one or not once I figure out what's going on. All right. So thank you again. Have a wonderful evening, and maybe we'll see you back here tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.